Hey, welcome to Optimise Your Body with Martin Silva, where we talk raw, uncut facts to truly help you optimize your body. Welcome to Optimise Your Body, and thank you for tuning in to episode 24. And with no further ado, I have my guest here, Micky Parker, who I met really properly for the first time at the Sydney Fitness Show. Mm-hmm. We're both ambassadors for Muscle Republic, the clothing brand. So welcome to the show, Micky. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Martin. Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm very excited.
Good. That's great to have you on. I just wanted to kind of just pick your brains, and I think you're going to appeal to a lot of my female listeners and stuff because you keep yourself in shape all year round, and obviously you've done some F45 in the past as well, I know. Yeah. But you also lift weights here. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to find out a little bit more about like your journey and stuff like that, and just whatever knowledge bombs you can share with the audience, really. So we were just talking off air then. You were saying about your fitness journey, and if you can just how long have you been training and whatnot?
Awesome. Okay, so my fitness journey started probably at the very end of high school. That's when I started really training properly. I mean, I've always been active, like playing sports, like I did taekwondo, touch football, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I've always been a pretty active kid, but then growing up I really started to get into health and fitness, into the gym, and really explore different types of training. Mm-hmm. So I started off in group classes like most people do, like your Les Mills and that type of thing. Then kind of eventually found my feet in F45. Yep. So I actually was working in a law firm back at that time, and I was going there more of like a release, like a stress release and that type of thing. There was a lot of different reasons for me starting out at F45, but eventually I changed from the law side of things into the fitness industry to follow my passion, and I've been training for about 5 to 6 years, and which has then increased into doing weights and then doing a fitness competition. So
I didn't know you did a fitness competition.
Yeah, I did it last year. So it's been a pretty long journey, to be honest, but I feel like I really have explored like a lot of different avenues, because I do like an all-round fitness approach. Like it's not just one thing that I really enjoy. I like the whole of course.
And you mentioned F45 then, because my recent episode was based on like high intensity training and CrossFit and F45 and whatnot, and how I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, in terms of like doing it long term.
Yes.
But I was just going to see if you could give a bit more insight into your experience with F45. If you can quickly explain what F45 is to the audience, and just because you were doing that for a while and you were teaching it at quite a high level and stuff like that as well. And I've noticed, obviously, you've always lifted weights on top of that as well, right? Yeah. So what is it exactly, and how was your experience with it?
All right. So F45 is functional style training. It's high intensity or circuit style training. Mm-hmm. So all of the classes are 45 minutes, and there's about 30 odd people per class. All of the exercises are up on the screen, so it's like a really simple module to kind of follow. Mm-hmm. And all of the sessions are to time, so there is more cardio based and weights based workouts. What you do is you really just come in. It's really good for beginners as well, because you get taught like what different exercises are, and I know that that's definitely a benefit for some, because going into a gym can be very confronting and a little bit scary as well, and then a lot of people would come in and wouldn't know what to do, and then kind of would just maybe walk on the treadmill and then leave type thing. So F45 is really great, and I worked there for 2.5, 3 years. I actually managed an F45 as well.
Oh wow!
So in Coogee, so absolutely love it. Same as you, I suppose. I do think that there's a time and a place for it, but I also am a massive advocate of weight training. Yeah. And like you mentioned, I do and have always done both of them together, which I think is really important, especially as you're progressing. But I do believe that F45 is really good for the all-round general population, to get people moving and active, and it's also a really good community as well, to meet people and that type of thing.
Sure, And you were saying then about you doing like the both together, we were saying. you're only 23 years old, right? So
Yes.
I think, like, yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to the point now where you probably, I don't know, you've veered away from it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're primarily just lifting weights now, is that right? Well, what about
Correct.
cardiovascular stuff? Because I always have this debate with people, and I try to educate people who listen about how important weightlifting is in terms of
Yes.
everything, really, longevity, bone density, but also how you look.
Yeah.
And then obviously moving enough is, I think, more important than just cardio as such, you know, your total daily movement or whatever, and
Yeah.
just walking and
Exactly.
burning enough calories on a day-to-day basis. But
Yeah.
do you do any like cardio at the moment? Do you still do F45 a bit here and there on top of weights, or?
Honestly, I don't. I've got a bit of funny knees, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of knee injuries going on. So I'm trying to steer away from that type of impact with cardio.
Yeah, what's that caused from then? In the issue?
So it's just from muscle tightness, but it's also just the way that my knee's structured as well.
So you had that like when you were younger as well?
Yeah, but it's just it gets worse when like I'm really tight or anything like
see
that
what you
as
mean,
well,
yeah.
through my muscles.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still kind of going through the process of what exactly it is and how to fix it. So
Yeah.
so who knows with that.
Good stuff. Awesome.
But yeah, so I am a massive advocate for weight training, but exactly the same as what you said, all-round fitness is in like moving often.
Yes.
And I still do think it is important to have your cardiovascular health, but the problem is I think that not enough people, especially women, realise the benefits of weightlifting, especially for longevity and all those types of things, bone density, everything that you mentioned, but also your aesthetics and achieving your goals. Like there's still this massive thing that people think if you're going to lift weights, you're going to get bulky, which is just definitely not the case. It's not possible. That's silly.
I know. I have this conversation with females all the time.
It's frustrating, but I think what I've realised...
Good to hear that coming from you. That's so soothing. Thank you for that.
In the health and fitness industry.
Listen to this woman. She knows what she's talking about.
What I've realised is it's a lot to do with mindset, and I think that's the main thing that I find in being an online coach. It actually comes all back to your mindset and how you're really understanding like what training is going to get you what results and why you're doing what. And it's kind of just letting go of all those all that false information and just trusting the science and everything and giving it a crack. So it's really just comes back to what I think is a journey that you've got to take yourself to really discover what's going to work for you as well.
Yep.
Like some people absolutely love like going for a massive run and stuff, and they find that really invigorating. Like go for it. Like I'm not saying that that's
if you enjoy
bad.
it.
Yeah, if you enjoy
definitely.
it, any type of movement is overall obviously going to be great.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really important. Where I come in, I'm trying to show people the importance of weight training, which I think is probably the main reason I got stuck into health and fitness in my journey too.
Great, awesome. And you mentioned then a very important point. You mentioned about the why, and why do you want to achieve these goals, for example? I think is a very important thing for people to take note of, isn't it? Is like, what are the main reasons behind why you're doing it?
Yes.
Because, like, for example, when people are looking to get in shape, you know, they look at kind of Instagram models or whatever it is, and they look at people online, and they kind of compare themselves to them as well, which is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But also, it's like they want to be in shape, but they don't really. It's normally stem from what I've gathered anyway. It's normally stem from a lot of the times like insecurities, right? So certain parts of your body you're not happy with, or whatever that is. It's not always a bad thing, but what I find is like unless you know the reason why. Getting in shape is not going to make you happy as such.
No.
You see what I mean? So you were just saying about addressing the why. So you have clients like online and stuff, right? So you coach people.
Yeah.
And you always, I guess you've coached a lot of people anyway with the role you have with F45.
Yeah.
And do you go deeper into it with these people, like a little bit in terms of why and what you want to achieve?
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about creating SMART goals, which generally, all my clients generally, their goal is aesthetic. And I do like really delving into the why, because that's really going to make or break, I guess, their motivating factor and exactly that, why they want to achieve these results. And like you said, everyone has a why or an underlying reason under everything that they do, really.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's really important. So, of course, I really delve into it. I do like a very extensive questionnaire for all my online clients because I can't be with them in person, because I want to make sure that we're really addressing each individual, because they're all going to have individual goals and outlooks and lifestyles and body types and that type of thing. I think that's really important because a lot of people just put everyone in the same type of group, especially with like females and like weight loss or this or that. Like there's totally different opinions and views on everything. So I think everyone needs to be treated as an individual person and a totally different ball game to the next as well.
Awesome, that was great. Thanks for that. I've just got a few questions really for you. Just looking at my list now. Just gonna say about like certain myths and stuff, because where, as I keep saying on other podcasts, we live in an era where there's so much information available to us that it can become a bit overwhelming, and there's so much, excuse my French, there's so much bullshit out there, right? That it's hard for people to siphon out, the correct information, the stuff that's actually going to benefit
them. Where
them.
did it all come from?
I know,
There's
exactly.
so much. It's pretty simple.
That's it.
And that's what I'm trying to like say. Like forget all these like fads, like no carbs after 5, like all these different fad diets, like the keto and this and that. There's so many of them, and it's so much simpler than that. It's just coming back to making healthy, right choices for you and finding what fits for your lifestyle. Like what I said. It's a journey that you really need to go through yourself to figure out what's best for your body, and no one knows your body better than yourself. So.
No, that's right. Just for example, there's loads of myths out there, like and I was going to mention to you about skinny or strong, right? So obviously you're at a point now where you're lifting weights. That's your passion anyway, is weightlifting and looking after yourself essentially. But being strong and building strength, and obviously building muscle as a byproduct of that is really important, right? So whereas, I don't know how long ago, maybe 10 years ago, it was all about being skinny or whatever, unhealthy though, right? That's basically what that is. So now it's great to see the movement now. It's actually starting to veer more towards health, which is what it's all about, right?
Which is
so strength and stuff like that you find really important, So do you actually do like lifting? Do you lift heavy weights?
Yes.
I saw you in the gym actually. You do lift quite heavy weights.
I like to think I do. No, I do, and I find that really empowering. So the thing is, everyone comes with me, back to what I was saying, with aesthetic goals, but I always create a fitness or a strength goal with all of my clients, because like what you said, if they're always focusing on the aesthetics, I find that people can never be happy type thing, and it can be really demotivating and stuff, and they need to realize that fitness is so much deeper than your outer shell, and I think that's only something that you start realizing once you're actually in it and you're going through the motions. Like everyone will tell you and you'll be like, that's fine because you look good or whatever.
Of course,
But then once people get further into it, they actually realize it's such an empowering thing to be getting stronger, to be hitting your PBs, to be achieving the goals that you set. And I think that over time gives you such a feeling of determination and empowerment and all these things within yourself. And that's what I love about health and fitness, because everyone starts off aesthetic, but I feel like you grow as a person through health and fitness, as cheesy as that sounds.
No, that's true.
But you totally do, and I just feel like you're constantly bettering yourself, not only aesthetically, but also like mentally and your capabilities and your drive as well.
Just as you mentioned earlier, isn't it? With mindset, having that determination, that self-discipline.
Exactly.
But it's not all about that. You always it really gets under my skin a bit, where it seems so hard, doesn't it, to people? If you look at the average, I know like the bodybuilders and stuff. Like, I'm not, obviously I was in that class at one point, but I'm not looking down on that. But there's a lot of kind of certain people out there who are like, it's a grind. You got to work really hard, and it's all blood, sweat, and tears, and balls to wall kind of training. Whereas it doesn't need to be like that, does it? You can mold it into a lifestyle if you just, like you said, if you cover the big rocks, right?
Exactly.
So going a bit deeper into that, what would you say are the bit, like, I don't know, 3 of the most important things when it comes to you coaching someone online? They'll come to you and they want to get healthy, they want to look better, they want to feel better. What do you think, it doesn't have to be 3 things, but what do you think are the most important things? What would you say?
I think the most important thing is an open mindset. And to try, and this is probably the hardest thing to overcome, actually, and it's, of course, one of the most important, to try and overcome everything that you've heard from the media or from the fads and that type of thing, and just start implementing and start taking action on things, as well as also, I suppose, starting to really understand, like, it all goes back to understanding why they're doing what they're doing. That's obviously really important too.
I know. I was just going to ask you about, for example, like, sleep, and no, that was great. That was good, because that was the kind of thing I was after, the mental side of it. But now I'm gonna go a bit deeper again and go into the physical side of it.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, just I always say to people the basic things like sleep. Like drinking water, that kind of stuff. Sorry, I should have said about this. Drinking water, like eating the right foods and stuff, and how supplements are not really that, because everyone, again, looking at Instagram models or whatever, supplements had their place, certain supplements. I'm not, like, a lot of people think I'm anti-supplements, but I'm just anti most supplements. There's some good ones out there, you just got to seek them out. But just in terms of eating right and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, and that's what I preach 100%. Like, nothing will beat a good training and nutrition plan. So that will always come first. I actually just did a YouTube video on this about supplements and stuff, which is great.
What's your YouTube channel, just so they know?
It's just Micky Parker Fitness.
Yeah, Micky Parker Fitness. Check her out.
So check that out. So I just actually did a YouTube on this exact topic.
Great.
And because I have a lot of people inboxing me about fat burners and is this going to, like, help me with my results? And yes, it does. If you go and watch it, it'll go into a lot more detail. But nothing will beat a good training and nutrition program.
Exactly.
And it's really that simple. Like, there's no magic pill or anything like that. Those supplements can definitely assist once you've already got this consistency in place, but nothing will beat that. If you just do that, you will get the results. Like, it's all about being consistent and persisting. And I think with my online clients, also then being another one is just being honest and open. Like, if you do make a mistake, that's totally okay. Like, we're not perfect. I think a lot of people look at Instagram models or even look at myself and think that I never, like, muck up on my training program or my eating, or I'm just eating clean 24/7.
That's it.
And I think that's a really bad mindset to have, because it's just it's not reality. And what we always say is progress over perfection, because if you're constantly aiming for this perfect, you're really never going to be happy.
No, exactly.
You just need to be progressing and taking steps every single day and being proactive in achieving your goals.
Exactly. That was well said. And that's great what you said there about perfection.
Yes.
Because naturally we're always striving for perfection, which does not exist. And as I've said before, like, I believe that imperfection is perfection, right? Because we're all different, we're all unique, and we all have these struggles. So I have the same thing as well. People look at me like, oh, it's okay for him, it's easy, he's got willpower. And it's like, well, it's taken me a lot of time to work on that willpower. Willpower you're not born with, you. Right? So you've got to work on these things. A lot of people
always email me like, how do you get the motivation? Like, it's this thing that you can actually have. It's like, no, I don't always have motivation. Like, the other day I was like, oh, I really couldn't be bothered.
That's it.
But
it's about battle, isn't it?
And it's just about being disciplined and also listening to your body. Like, if you really, really, like, don't have the energy to go, like, that is okay as well. So I'm all about, like, finding a balance and creating it as a lifestyle. And it's just getting into routine, and I think that's what keeps you going. Like, it just becomes something that you really enjoy.
Habit.
Habit as well.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say something then about what you were saying about basically people, the mindset and the discipline required, and creating as a lifestyle and balance, right? So it's like you're always going to get, it's always you're going to get that voice. I call it the little bitch voice, right? Where it's like, don't go to the gym, or don't do this, or don't do that. The comfort zone is always, you're always, a lot, exactly. It's always, again, the ego is always trying to pull you into that comfortable place, right? But obviously, you've got to push the boundaries to a certain extent and be a little bit uncomfortable, like, I don't want to go to the gym, like maybe you've had a long day at work, you sat home. A lot of people have got office jobs as well, right? And they, say for example, they want to go after work, they've got home. They should go first thing, by the way, shouldn't they? Get it out of the way.
Yeah, that's totally. I used to work in a law firm, and like after a full 8, 9, 10, who knows how many hour day, because it can just keep dragging on.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be really easy to just push it aside, and that was one of my downfalls. And I was never a morning person. You know what? I became a morning person, and it changed my whole life. Like, just get up that little bit earlier, and you honestly feel. I used to go to work, sit at my desk, have my second coffee, coffee and just be really like tired and unmotivated. But then I changed it up, started gymming in the morning, and I would feel so good all day. I was so productive and just in such a better mindset as well.
Absolutely. I'm exactly the same, because I come from exactly the same background as you, but I've been doing this for a while now. I've been doing it for like over 10 years, right? But when I was like, say, 19, 20, I first got into fitness and teaching by doing group classes and teaching like boxercise, circuits, spin, those kind of things. And I was the same thing. I was not a morning person at all, right? And then when I broke the habit, like years down the line, broke the habit, started getting like early clients, you know, I got more into one-to-one training. And then I just adapted, and that's what happens, right? So I'm reading a really good book now. It's called The Power of Habit.
Okay.
It's really good, but apparently they've done studies, and roughly around 40% of the things we do are not actually decisions, they're habit.
Yeah.
So just as you were saying then, which was spot on, it's like, you might say no, you might think it's nothing. Oh, I'm not going to go to the gym today. I'm not going to go to the gym today. 3 or 4 years go by, and it becomes a tipping point then, where you could potentially be putting your health later down the line. You're going to be putting your health at risk. You're not doing your health any favors. It's just an example. But once you break those bad habits, right, we can form bad habits really easy. But once you start forming those good habits, you adapt. You get the consistency, as you said, and it's just literally doing those simple things and making those decisions consistently, isn't it? And it really does progress really fast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I try and tell people.
Yeah, it's crazy. And people think that you can't get results. Like I'm just doing a 6-week online program at the moment, and that's something that I like showing people is they've only just done 2 weeks and they've already seen amazing results. And I think people won't follow like a plan or something because they think that it could take forever, but it literally doesn't take long. You can start seeing results so quickly if you're consistent and you just trust the process and just really stay persistent with it.
Absolutely. And I've actually just launched today my 28-day challenge.
Okay.
Now I've always been kind of avoiding it because I always talk about long term.
Yes.
Like 28-day challenge.
Yes, no, I know the feeling.
You know the feeling,
same I just did that with my 6-week.
Really, but in that amount of time, as you just said then, which you just light bulb went off my head. It's like it's so true that actually even within 4 weeks, 28 days, you can achieve a lot, and especially with your mindset about forming good habits, and providing it's a good plan. Which obviously I have confidence that mine and yours are really good plans, programs or whatever it is. And as long as you're getting the right programming and stuff, if you're consistent with the simple things, like making healthier food choices, and you're never going to be 100% perfect, right? So, like, I guess obviously you have a life, and occasionally you like to go out and have maybe a cheat meal or whatever it is, eat some,
I love food.
Maybe. What about alcohol? Do you have a drink?
Yes.
Or, yeah, exactly.
Of course I do.
Human being, see?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people
you may think she's a machine, but she's a human.
Yeah, a lot of people think I don't drink and stuff, but I'm a very balanced person. I love travel, and obviously I love like socializing with friends. Like I'm never going to miss something like that because of my passion for health and fitness, because I've made it into a lifestyle. It just fits my lifestyle. Like it's completely fine.
Exactly.
Obviously when I was prepping, that's a bit of a different story.
Yeah, you've done a show. Yeah, talk a little bit more about that. Just give people an insight into what goes into it.
All right. So I wanted to do a fitness competition for so many years, but I never really felt like my mindset and my relationship with food was at the right stage until about 4 or 5 years into my training, which is probably a good thing because obviously I struggled. I haven't really gone into it, but I struggled a little bit as I was younger in high school with all the pressures with social media, all that type of thing.
Of course, because you're in that era, aren't you? So when you were in high school, you still had access to social media and stuff. Like I'm old, still my age now. I'm 30 years old. I didn't have that in school. So talk about that. So I was talking about.
Yeah, I suppose it was kind of only starting. I can assume it would be a lot harder now.
Yeah.
So, of course, like there's always a lot of pressure for you to look a certain way and that type of thing. And I suppose that's why I kind of got into it. But I've actually suffered with a lot of gut health issues from a young age. So probably when I was about 17, 18. And that's what put me off ever going into a fitness competition, because I can get bloated like that. Like I'll eat really clean, really healthy, whatever. It doesn't matter. If there's something that doesn't agree with me, like my stomach will just like balloon.
Yeah.
And
Have you put your finger on what that is now? Sorry, exactly in terms of like, was it like dairy or gluten, the usual things?
So yeah, pretty much the usual things. Like they definitely affect me. Gluten intolerant, so I don't eat any gluten. I love dairy, but I try not to eat it because I know it's not really the best.
Yeah, so small amounts you can have and you're okay.
Yeah, so I have like small amounts. Yeah, I'm not lactose intolerant, but like it'll make my skin and stuff. But it's more the gluten, and that type of thing. So I've been eating completely gluten free for about 4 or 5 years now, which has helped a lot. But yeah, after like really delving into it, they just ended up saying like IBS, and my whole family's kind of like that. And we've really struggled with pinpointing it. We've seen specialists and doctors and tests, and they haven't really been able to pinpoint exactly what it is, which is a bit frustrating. But what I found is when I am eating whole foods and stuff without preservatives and that type of thing, I'm completely fine.
Cool. What about organic? Do you eat organic most of the time, or do you not bother?
I try to eat organic, but
no,
yeah, not always.
Just a case of getting enough vegetables in general.
That's right. Yeah,
and just cutting out the crap.
Exactly, and trying not to eat like packaged food and stuff like that, because that like really affects me as well.
It's great to have you saying that. See, I knew it was a good idea getting you on the show, because I always preach about this, but like we've all experienced it, and like it's just being aware of those things, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people they're not actually connected to these things.
Yes.
So they don't realise that, I get bloated, but I'll just live with it. It's just one of those things, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, it is going to be something which is not agreeing with you or whatever.
It was like a massive struggle, and I'd be lying to say that it's not still. Like it still is like an uphill struggle.
Oh, definitely.
But you just kind of start, like it's just been a journey of understanding what works for me and what doesn't, and what bloats me, what upsets me, what doesn't. And like I said, when I'm eating foods like whole foods, I feel great.
You say whole foods, you mean by that, just so they know anyway, like lots of vegetables and just like stuff that grows.
Yeah, like meat.
What about your meat? Do you get like grass-fed meat? Or
I try to get grass-fed meat.
Yeah, good stuff. And do you eat much like red meat and stuff? Because there's another myth in there how bad it is for you. But obviously anything.
Honestly, I do. Yeah, I do, and love it. But so I try not to cut out anything that like doesn't like affect me badly.
Okay, yeah.
And I really enjoy like all the foods. So so that has been a struggle, I suppose. But then so growing up, coming back to the fitness comp, that's why I never really did one, because I could be eating like the most simplest clean foods and still get like bloated, and I mean like looking down at my feet and can't see them no matter how lean I am bloated. Like it looks very creepy. I look pregnant, but so that really put me off, and my mindset was always like really unsure about that until last year. So last year's when I competed.
Oh, cool.
Started prepping in about May, and I competed in the ICN fitness and sports model divisions. So I did one show in state in New South Wales, and then I did nationals in Melbourne.
Oh wow, so you've done like 2 comps.
Yeah.
How did you find the experience? You learn a lot about yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, a lot. So it was really, really good. Of course, I was very nervous. For me, my hardest thing, I've been training for ages and stuff. The hardest thing for me was getting up on stage, especially in those heels and not falling off.
Yeah, exactly. It must be hard.
So that was a big thing to overcome for me, but I'm so glad that I did. Absolutely loved it. It was really good. Probably from the first show to the second, there was about 4 weeks in between. Must admit, that was the hardest thing I think I've ever done. Trying to stay lean and like.
I didn't 2 back to back, but that was like literally 1 week apart. But we won't go too much into that, because I've talked about. I was going to go deeper into it because it's like it gets you excited talking about. But I'm just going to try and relate this to listeners a bit more because only because I talked to Amy Fox about it. But so 4 weeks apart, man, that's a long time to go in between though.
Yeah, it was right.
I was just going to say it's a tiny bit off topic. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But I wanted to, because I get a lot of females asking me, and this is one thing I can't really answer because I'm not a woman. When it comes to, you said about bloating. Without going too much into it, when it's your time of the month, for example, right, the menstrual cycle. Now, I've started reading books and stuff to learn more, because like it just completely baffles me when I get clients. Clients have got no energy whatsoever. Like, and I know, and I still, everyone's different, right? So it's like at different stages. And how does that affect you when you have that? Because like I have clients and they're like, no matter what I eat or whatever, I am just bloated and I feel horrible. And they lose their strength and all the rest of it.
So it's really important to notice those times, because like what you said, everyone like has it completely differently with their monthlies and stuff like that, and it definitely affects your energy and how you're going to train. Also, I think that one of the hard things is with like cravings and trying to overcome that and curb those cravings too. Like a lot of females struggle with it, but it's just something that I think again is really personal, and you need to just work with that person one-on-one to figure out like how they respond to that and how to overcome those issues and stuff like that as well. So
do you find you get like bloated a lot though?
Yeah, I do, but not like the food. Like it's just I'm pretty lucky, to be honest with you. Like I know a lot of females who get like really bad pain and literally just out, out for the count. But
anything you'd recommend in terms of, I don't know if there's any, like you don't really get it that bad then I guess, but to the point where you have to think, I have to take this supplement, this vitamin or anything like that. No, you just manage it and don't overdo it, I guess, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, not for me. It's kind of just first thing I think is accepting and understanding if you're one of those people that do kind of have that. I'm kind of the same as you. I'm a pretty natural type person. Like I probably wouldn't like go crazy with like recommending anything. Like it's just a person to person basis. So it's really just difficult, I think, and it's just about still, even though you're craving things, it's trying to keep your nutrition and eating the right things. For that time as well.
That's it, exactly. Yeah. Because a lot of us, when it comes to eating, I don't want to talk too much about about that because I can't really relate to that too much. But it's like, when it comes to eating in general and whatever, a lot of it is habit again, right? So this is some message I'm trying to get across to people, and I do like intermittent fasting most days, which has taught me a lot about the signals in terms of when you're actually hungry.
Yes.
And the reality is, in these kind of countries, we don't really know what it's like to be hungry as such. Okay, we've done shows and stuff, so we know what it's like to be hungry. But you know what I mean? Like most of us, most people kind of just eat out of habit, and they get the cravings because they've got these bugs inside of them, as we know how complex the gut is.
Yes.
The bugs are crying out, the bacteria inside them are crying out for whatever it is they're eating, whether it's sugar or processed foods and stuff. So in terms of, I wanted to bust this myth as well, in terms of eating like little and often, and that's another myth obviously we've been fed with, but how many times do you eat a day? Did you like have a pattern, or
well, I kind of started eating more frequently when I was prepping.
Yeah, same.
And I find that actually really worked well with me because I'm always hungry. I can eat a lot of food. But I would often, especially working in the law firm, I could get really busy at work and I could go like 8 or 9 hours without eating during the day, and then all of a sudden I'd be starving and I'd come home and I'd binge, and I would just sit there and eat so much food because I was starving. So I think it's just, for me, I find that eating every 2.5, 3 hours works a little bit better because then I kind of satiate my hunger and I'm never like that really hungry craving feeling, because then if I get to that point, I always crave bad foods and I always opt for whatever's closest, and often if I'm out or whatever, you can't always make the healthiest choices. So it's good this day and age now, there's a lot more options.
Well, you sometimes but what I'll do now is because I know, whereas before I used to, when I wasn't very educated, I used to think I better eat something because the muscle's going to fall off me.
Yes.
When I didn't really know what I was talking about. But would you sometimes say you're out and about and you get a bit hungry? Because obviously with you're very lean as well, right? So sometimes we actually do get hungry when your body fat's down quite low, But do you sometimes think, do you know what? I won't eat that because the only options you've got available, for example, might be some crap food. Will you sometimes just go, I'll just wait till later?
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's something fast food or anything, it is hard with my bloating in my gut and stuff, going back to that. I have to be careful with what fast foods or anything or takeout foods I am eating. So of course, and it's not I will just wait till later if I want to, because that's completely fine.
I just wanted to clear that up because people always panic and think, I better eat something, because again, it's habit, isn't it?
And it's also, it just comes down to lifestyle, and that's what I do with my my online clients as well, because there's no point, say you're a nurse or whatever, there's no point and you only have a certain time to eat, and you know that you cannot be snacking in between because you're in ER, I don't know, whatever you're doing. There's no point me giving you a meal plan where you're eating every 2 hours if you physically can't do that. I'm just setting you up to fail. So that's why with all my clients, I'll give them a full schedule so they can say when they can possibly eat and stuff, and it's completely fine. It just comes back to your lifestyle and creating a lifestyle and nutrition plan and training program that can fit into your lifestyle. Otherwise it's never going to be achievable and you're not going to stick to it.
Of course, it's got to be sustainable.
And at the end of the day, like what you said, you don't have to eat every 2 hours.
You're not going to die.
No, you're not going to die. It's okay.
Great. Okay, so I know you've got to go now anyway, so we'll just wrap it up, and just a little maybe just to summarize for the listeners, do you have any tips say for the average listener, just because you're in shape all year round, you know, you're very healthy as well. Any tips for the listeners who, you know, they want to get in shape, they want to get healthy, and they want to create like sustainable health?
Yep.
Any tips? Could be anything at all that you got for the listeners?
Start weight training.
Yeah, thank you. There we are. Lift
Start
weights.
weight training, lift weights.
Even women, right? You can lift heavy weights.
Yeah,
Micky
women.
does it, and look at the shape.
Do
Fine.
it. So start lifting weights. Try find something that you enjoy that makes you feel good from the inside out. And stay really simple as well. So remember, stop falling off the bandwagon whenever it gets hard. If you do have like a binge or something, draw a line under it. Just continue the same as you would the next day. Don't then make yourself feel guilty or anything and go into this big vicious cycle. Like, that's completely normal. Everyone does it. Just get back on track the next day or just the next meal, whatever, and just continue on. I see too many people falling off the bandwagon then never getting started again because they keep failing. And stop looking at it as failing.
You hit the nail on the head. I
feel like there's a lot of tips. Stop failing. Just keep going with it. Like, stay consistent, persistent. You will get there.
Great, that was awesome. Yeah, the momentum. That's one thing I wanted to say, isn't it? Like, people think they failed as soon as they do one bad thing or they have one bad day or whatever. Oh, well, I might as well just write tomorrow off as well. But no, it's getting back on it the next day and just writing it off. Right?
It's more about, this is what I like, it's more about what you do than what you don't do. Exactly. So if you're like 7 days of the week or 6 days of the week eating well, lifting weights, if you do go out for a cheat meal, it's not going to ruin all of your progress.
Exactly.
So I think that people think that it's a lot harder than what it is. So that really scares them off, but it's not. It's just getting into routine, being consistent, keeping that momentum, and the results do come.
Awesome, thank you very much. What was your Instagram handle again, just for the listeners?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Micky Parker, 2 Y's, and also you can search Micky Parker or Micky Parker Fitness on YouTube as well, so you can have a look there.
Great, thank you very much. And just to let you all know, I've got the 28-day challenge, which is launched today. So go over to my website. Click on, I've got the link in my bio on Instagram anyway, just go to martin-silva.co.uk and you can purchase the plan on there. And that's it, it's a wrap.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Micky.